and you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the world.
So all this, I don't know, for me it's so amazing because it's such a validation. It has nothing to do with acting. Almost any of the things that inspire me have nothing to do with acting, and yet the implications have everything to do with acting, because what is acting but just an exploration of what it means to be human? Bravely, truly, madly, deeply. That's it. And we get ourselves stuck because we think it's something else. And technique is really born out of you being brave enough to go madly, deeply, truly into each moment. So this week, there's been the TED Radio Hour. If you don't watch TED Talks, they also edit them down into like radio digestible formats. It's really inspiring. And the whole week has been about the art of listening. And there were different guests. But then I stumbled upon, like, I guess the highlighted guest, and his name is Dave Assay. I don't know if you know him. But what's so incredible is, so he talks about listening as the act of discovery, which is everything that I've been teaching for 15 years, more than 15 years. That listening is the way in, it gives you everything you need, it opens you into curiosity and to danger and vulnerability and real connection and places that we don't want to go, but we have to go as people. That's why we're here, even though it's scary. So this guy's not an actor, he doesn't deal with actors, but he's talking about the discovery of listening. And TED, the organization of TED, each year awards the winning talk and the winning sort of idea, the inspiring idea that they give $1 million to take that. Yes, it's so beautiful. I'm going to totally start crying. It's so beautiful. So they give the winning, Spanish, I shouldn't call it winning, but they give the TED Talk that finds its way to be the most inspiring way to affect positively the lives of most people. And who should win the $1 million prize this year, or last year, I don't know when this happened, but Dave Assay. And it's all based on listening. So here's the fascinating story. He started out as a radio documentarian. So he basically, when he was 22 years old, he wanted to interview people. And he found out at that time, so this was I think in the 80s, he found out at that time that his dad was gay, and he didn't know this. It's a really moving story. And his dad told him that his dad was on the front line of the Stonewall riots in 1969, which really started the gay liberation movement, really. And he found that story so compelling as just how brave those people were to grant equal rights, to stand for something, but also that his dad was doing it. So he interviewed his dad. So that's how it started at the age of 22. And he used it by listening to his dad to work through all the kind of weird and a lot of things that he did not quite understand about his dad being gay, a lot of conflict he had about that. He used that as a way to understand through listening. And not only that, but that he talks about how that set him on a course that has completely transformed his life. So from there, he went out and started interviewing people who were on the margins of society. So people who had no voice and people who never were listened to. And he would go and interview them. And just in this simple act of listening to someone, it would change their life. I think he talks about in the talk that he says it so powerfully that someone said to him, I think it was a homeless person or somebody who lived in a flop house, that he said, "I exist, I'm seen." Very powerful. So fast forward, 10 years ago, he created the StoryCorps. StoryCorps is basically, he started this as an idea in Grand Central Station, a little box that is a recording booth. And you can go in and interview a total stranger about the most intimate things you would want to ask another person. Or you can go in and Barbara and I could go in, or Rachel and I can go in. You can go in with your partner. And basically it's it's recorded and you're given the tape, and then the other tape is sent to the Library of Congress. So there's actual audio files of people being human, interviewing each other and listening to really what it means to be human. And first of all, it's become now, 10 years later, the largest repository of recorded voices in the history of humanity, which is so beautiful in of itself. And I think he's used the $1 million to actually design an app so that you no longer have to go into, like, you know, the what is that called? Brick and mortar actual foundational place to record. Instead, I could do it on my app with someone. And the last point that I think is really interesting, besides all this stuff, is he talks about active listening. And that's a term that I coined. I don't know. I mean, obviously I didn't make it up, but lots of people use it. But again, for this journalist to talk about active listening, where you are completely tuned into what someone says, listening to someone with an incredible amount of intensity changes your life. So simple, people. So simple, but not easy. That is the bedrock of real acting. It is doing the work. It's so simple, we don't want to trust that it can be that simple. But you've also discovered that it's also hard because listening is going to make you go to places we don't want to go. And he interviewed a hospice doctor, Ira Byock, who wrote this book called The 4 Things That Matter Most. And he found that Dave found that by creating the StoryCorps, the things that most people in interviewing other people found were the same things that this hospice doctor found when people were on their deathbed. Meaning, if you are going to go talk to your parents when they depart, or you're departing and someone's going to talk to you, that the 4 things that are most often talked about are, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. So powerful. That's what listening does. And to do a full circle moment, a year ago, I lectured on I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you, which is an ancient Ho'oponopono saying, that basically if you just mantra one of those things in any situation that you're feeling anxious or nervous or untethered or not in the moment or feeling like you need some sort of blessing or quiet benediction for self, just mantra it. It covers all bases. You're covered. You can't go wrong telling someone, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, or thank you. It is what it means to be human. So, anyway, it's just really... Anyway, just really powerful to me that I stumbled upon. I had the good fortune of being in the right place at the right time and discovering that it is all about listening. It's really all about listening. And that doesn't mean that the work doesn't unfold more complicated and deeper ways to actively listen, and we discover that it never ends. Because as you become more available in your work, we're continuing to peel back more and more layers of what it means to be human. That takes us to more dangerous places. But I'll just end with this, you guys. If the winning TED Talk that inspired so many people and has become, just this record of the largest amount of human voices ever recorded, if there's something that profound in being human and listening, that means that you can all do it. You can all act. You can all tell stories. You're all significant. You all can make a difference. There's something powerful in you, in listening, and speaking from that truth of what it means for you to listen in the way you listen and tell story from there. That don't ever listen to somebody tell you it can't be. You're not good enough, you're not this enough, you're not. So, anyway, that's my, sorry, I keep crying about it. It's just really powerful to me. These are not tears of sadness, it's like gratitude and joy of what we're doing and being so supported in ways that have nothing to do with acting.
It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're